propose that the amendments be agreed to. And I call the honourable member for Bass.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Well, I could wax lyrical all day about the benefits of living and working in northern Tasmania, but like so many in my community, I know that one of the best advantages to living in my electorate of Bass is the ability to be able to achieve the great Australian dream of buying your first house. Launceston, the largest city in the Bass electorate and the largest regional city in the state, offers incredible proximity to hospitals, schools, the University of Tasmania, beautiful parks, a fantastic aquatic centre and so much more. So it's no surprise that the city has seen a rise in property prices over the past few years. It has been described by some in the industry as Australia's best performing market for 2018 due to the housing affordability and strong buyer market. Compared to Hobart, where its housing boom has made it increasingly difficult to enter the market, buying property in Launceston, or indeed in one of the many other areas in the electorate, is still achievable. Whether you're looking for suburban living in Launceston, beachside beauty in Bridport, or a tree change in one of our many stunning rural farming communities, northern Tasmania really does offer it all. And while the property market might still be viewed as widely affordable, particularly against other areas in Australia, I want to ensure that my constituents are able to reach their goal of purchasing their first home. This is where the Morrison government's First Home Loan Deposit Scheme will provide a benefit to many in my electorate. I enthusiastically support the policy intent of the scheme, which is to assist first home buyers who are having difficulty in purchasing their first home to get their start in the housing market. Research has indicated that the ability to save a deposit is a greater constraint on home ownership for first home buyers than the ability to service a home loan. And although not always the case, I know that many first homeowners in my community are often young couples or singles in their 20s who may be still working their way through an apprenticeship or have young children and may only have one full-time income, or even for those on a good salary in solid jobs, the rising cost of rent in Launceston can be a barrier when trying to save for a deposit. And the cost of renting can often be more expensive than a mortgage payment. This scheme provides eligibility for singles earning under $125,000 a year, or couples with a combined income of $200,000 a year, which, as many of my regional colleagues will know, makes this scheme even more appealing than in capital cities. For these reasons alone, the First Home Loan Deposit Scheme will truly assist those in my community who are working hard to save the amount needed for a deposit. Where 20% is often the minimum required to gaining access into the market, the scheme will allow a first home buyer to enter the market at a much reduced 5% deposit and avoid the extra cost of borrowing lenders' mortgage insurance. I imagine this scheme may also offer relief to some parents who, after claiming back bedrooms and the quiet calm of their house after their children move out, are seeing their children move back in and taking over the Netflix account as they furiously save for a house deposit. I'm aware that there are concerns that the scheme may encourage first home buyers to take on more debt than they would otherwise, but the checks and balances are in place in this bill. Home loans covered by the scheme will still be subject to serviceability assessments and responsible lending obligations. Additionally, the property price caps will limit the maximum size of loans that can be taken out under the scheme. The aforementioned price caps will be set on a regional basis, reflecting the affordability of different property markets, and the government will determine what the price caps will be after further consultation with stakeholders. I am confident that this will bring the best outcome for those in my community. I also note that there are queries surrounding how the scheme will affect the lender's mortgage insurance sector, but I am confident in the scheme's design to complement rather than compete with lenders' mortgage insurance. This scheme will be small in size, limited to 10,000 guarantees a year, and is not targeted at those that would otherwise be able to enter the housing market with the help of lenders' mortgage insurance. As previously mentioned, the electorate of Bass, while still considered affordable compared to many other regions in Australia, is becoming increasingly more expensive as the property market heats up in northern Tasmania. I am pleased to note that the National Housing and Investment Corporation Amendment Bill also gives effect to the government's election commitment to establish a research capacity within the National Housing Finance and Investment Corporation. This research capacity, which will examine housing demand and supply and affordability across Australia, will complement existing housing-related research, which will be critical when addressing housing affordability in years to come. This scheme, of course, not only benefits those individuals and couples looking to enter the housing market for the first time, but also our valuable local building and construction industries. Tradies are an important part of Northern Tasmania's culture. The ongoing confidence of the building and construction industry in Northern Tasmania was a recurrent theme during the recent election campaign, and I spent a lot of time speaking with local builders, plumbers and tradespeople like Steve Simeone of Tas City Build about how confidence and ongoing buoyancy in the market is driving investment and jobs growth. Steve told of growing his business from just 4 employees a few years ago to now 40 employees, with further growth potential ahead, and it was a similar story with many other tradespeople I spoke to as well. We are currently seeing strength in the local building industry in Northern Tasmania, providing jobs and economic stimulus, but it is important to cast an eye to sustaining that into the future. Master Builders Australia have been calling for measures such as the First Home Loan Deposit Scheme because, as it was pointed out in the election campaign, this government's targeted and practical approach will do more to assist first home buyers than doubling capital gains tax and restricting negative gearing could ever achieve. The scheme will be welcomed by home builders and tradespeople because a strong building economy provides stimulus for the housing market. I wholeheartedly support this bill, and I applaud the Morrison government for supporting those around Australia who are seeking to buy their own piece of the great Australian dream.